And we're live.
All right.
Anybody logged in yet?
There we go.
Why aren't I working?
Yeah, we got somebody on.
It's probably
Oh,
Monica.
okay.
Oh.
It's going okay.
There we are. Black on black today, inmates. What do you think of that? You guys ready for some blood junkie?
Hi, honey.
Blood junkie. Who's that?
Brianna.
Inky Binky Boo.
Yeah, my lovely daughter.
Oh, hey Breezy. What was she?
Hi.
What were you for Halloween, Breezy? Looked like she just had like a tail and some ears.
No, steampunk. The other picture.
Oh, I'm talking about the Halloween party.
Oh, the party.
Just a
well,
tail.
she changed a couple times.
Did she?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Brianna, what were you? Let us know.
Star Fox.
Wow, maybe we did have a little.
Maybe we did. Little shots there. And the Jello pudding pops.
I thought I was nursing that tequila sunrise for a few hours.
I was not nursing anything.
I know, right?
You
Dead Fox and steampunk.
Dead Fox?
Dead Fox.
Is that a character, or did you just make that up? It's fine if you just made that up.
It was
Whatever.
a fox. A
A dead fox. Around these parts, we call that roadkill.
Hey, Alan.
Alan's in the house. Mr. Wicked Wednesday himself.
That's right.
We are about to... Alan, have you seen Blood Junkie?
Hey, Shell.
Hey, Shelly.
She just made it up.
She just... Oh.
Brianna, yeah.
Well, it's cool. It's a cool character, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Steve.
Stevesy. What's up,
Hi,
Stevesy?
guys.
We're about to get into a little movie called Blood Junkie. Anybody out there seen Blood Junkie?
If not, watch it. It's pretty damn good.
I think you're gonna like it.
It's pretty funny.
It's ridiculous, but
Perfectly
ridiculous. It doesn't necessarily make it bad
And if you like 80s clothes.
or 80s anything.
80s
Yes.
anything. 80s Bush.
Whoa! Holy cow! There may have been a Japanese soldier still down there. Didn't know the war was over.
Yeah.
Holy cow! The bush on that one. We'll get into more bush here in a second, inmates. We are about... All right, you
Monica,
guys.
are you pro Bush?
No.
I'm pro neat bush.
Neat Bush.
I don't mind a little, but you gotta,
Little hedge trim.
dude. You can't just let it go. You know what I'm saying? It gets you get stuff, and then the sweat, and then the funk, and then forget it.
I don't like hair anywhere.
Anywhere at all?
Anywhere at all. I shave everything. Everything.
There you have it.
I just made $5.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to
Hear
bend
that?
over and
It
look.
sounds like ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
I look all the way and I go, fuck, how did I miss my butt?
You shave your butt.
My butthole. You never know.
What does that operation look like? Do you have like a special tool and a mirror for that?
No.
Some kind of a telescoping rod that you...
No, that's
Hanger.
why I just...
It's a hanger.
Coat hanger?
Coat hanger, yeah.
You shave it while you're doing the front part, so you just kind of go back.
Throw your leg up like on top of the whatever. Start doing the splits.
Dude.
I know.
If you cut yourself shaving in the butthole, you are in a world of hurt, my dear.
Right.
Holy. Well, there you go, inmates. You learn something every day, right? Monica's Asshole 101. You're only here in the padded room.
Well, somebody might want to see it or explore it.
Just anybody, really. There
At
might,
least I don't do anal bleaching.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. All right, well, let's talk about a horror movie. shall we? All right, here we go. And we are here. We're talking about Blood Junkie from 2011. My microphone was not on. It's Blood Junkie from 2011. This one got 5.7 stars. It's written and directed by Drew Rosas, Stars Nick Summer, Emily Triolo, and Isaiah Windsor. We're here in the Wisconsin Death Trip month, courtesy of Dee Von Drossik of the Horror Hose podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Dee.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
thank
Dee.
you.
She wanted us to do The Beast of Bray Road first, but she didn't tell us until tonight.
Yeah, so we
So,
can do that
That's
next.
what I wanted to do.
The Beast of Bray Road?
Yeah.
She said it's horrible. The movie. Have you seen The Beast of Bray Road?
No, I just saw some of the documentary parts.
Oh, okay. Well, she
Yeah.
said the movie's really bad.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Every movie we do this month is going to be based in, filmed in, or in other way, some other way have something to do with the state of Wisconsin. So we're going right to Blood Junkie from 2011. You're gonna love this one, inmates.
yeah.
It is 80s to a fucking T.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean I would say it's more 80s than House of the Devil.
Yeah.
I had to check IMDb like 3 times to make sure this thing was made in 2011.
Yeah.
Which it is. But everything from the haircuts to the fashion to the Griswold's station wagon that they were driving around.
The horseplay.
The horseplay. The ridiculous horseplay. The ridiculous facial hair. All of it.
And other hair.
There's a lot of body hair involved in this one. So we start off on a country road, and we get like a weird 80s syntho opening with the fluorescence and the pastel colors and the pew pew pew. What was it, like Double Edge Entertainment or something like that? Mm-hmm. And then we start off on a country road, somewhere in Wisconsin presumably, and a hitchhiker walking down said road. He's got his 80s Daisy Dukes on, and his long hair with the sweatband, and he looks like he's right out of 1980. This is early 80s, mind you. So I'm saying like 82, 83 region. Mm-hmm. Nobody picks him up, of course, so he just keeps walking down the road, and then he comes to a big building that appears to be abandoned. Mm-hmm. At first I saw this, I was thinking just an abandoned warehouse, but it turns out this thing is actually an abandoned glue factory. You would think there would be like, what is glue actually made out of? I heard it was horses. Is it horses? Or is it something else?
It has something to do with horses.
I think these days, at one point it was made out of horse, like horse hooves.
So probably back then.
I don't know. Well, no, I think like after like in the 80s, they probably went to some kind of a chemical compound or something. I know nothing about glue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, this thing is actually an abandoned glue factory. He goes in there, he kind of beds down for the night, makes himself a little campfire, and then a little while later, he gets attacked by a guy in a gas mask and presumably killed. The gas mask. I feel like the gas mask isn't utilized enough in horror movies. Right? When's the last time we've seen a gas mask?
Oh, in...
My Bloody Valentine?
No, the other movie, Headless.
Oh, yeah, there's
Was
another
that
one.
the sequel to...
To Found.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why we don't see more gas masks in horror movies. Insidious, Lin Shaye would wear one. Mm-hmm. Remember that? It had the big stupid elephant trunk thing.
Yeah.
And then he'd put it to his ear, something, I don't know. So that's the beginning of your movie. Now we're going to cut actually to a living room where a little boy is watching this. Now, this kind of wacky here, but apparently what we just saw was a movie inside the movie. So it's synthetic now, but yeah, it used to be made of horses. Shelley would know. So he's watching this as a movie, and then he flips through, and he's just flipping channel to channel. This kid's probably, what, 8 or 9? I'd say, maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah,
And
about 8.
he's right out of the 80s, too. He's got the Jeffrey Dahmer great big reading glasses and the lack haircut thereof, I guess. Remember in the 80s?
Big old cowboy boots?
Yeah, cowboy boots and like workout pants type of a thing. Mm-hmm. And he's just channel surfing, going from horror movie to horror movie. Night of the Living Dead, I saw. Some other black and white public domain stuff. And
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu was in there too. Mm-hmm. Pretty soon his older sister comes in. And she's like, Andy, this little kid's name is Andy. Andy, where are you? He's watching TV. He basically ignores her. She goes into the kitchen where she finds a note from her mother and find out she's basically in charge of the house for the weekend because mom's going out of town. She left her $35.
Whoa,
for
$35.
Back in the 80s.
$35.
Back in the early 80s.
What do you think a pizza went for in 1982?
$5?
No. A full, like a large?
Yeah.
$5 for a large pizza.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, all right. Well, I guess in that case, she's set for the weekend, right? $35? These days, that won't get you out of the Taco Bell drive-thru. So she's like, ooh, I got $35. I got the house to myself, but I do have my borderline psychopath younger brother who's just going to sit in front of TV and watch horror movies all day. So she goes upstairs and calls her friend. Now, this young lady, we get the idea that the older sister is probably the more virtuous one. And the only reason I say that is because she's wearing glasses. And she's wearing a lot of pink. So, in 1980s, if you didn't show up with your boobs out, you were probably a prude, right? That's what I like to call presenting.
I just
What are you looking at me
pictured the
for?
Go-Go's. I don't know why.
Oh, they were so hot. Who was the lead singer? Oh no, I'm thinking of the Bangles.
Oh.
Bangles were super hot.
Yeah.
I forget her name, but the lead singer, I had a thing for her, and I didn't even know what a thing was.
Isn't that like Susanna Hoff or
I have no
Susan-
idea.
I don't know.
The brunette. She was
Somebody
a
will
brunette. I
answer
remember
us.
that.
Yeah.
80s was nice and fun. So she calls her friend. Now this is Laura. Laura is the older sister. She calls her friend Rachel. Rachel is going to be the slut of the group. And it's not to say that she's like the only reason I say she's a slut because we start off right off the bat with her shirt off. Do you think those were actually her boobs or stunt boobs?
Stunt.
Think
Why
so?
do you think that?
They never showed her face on that part of it.
That's true, but at the same time,
Oh.
this movie was made for a budget of $6,000, so I don't feel like they had the resources for stunt
it was
boobs.
her boobs. I didn't think
I would,
different.
I don't know why they would go with stunt boobs, and if so, if you have stunt boobs, why not just put the whole girl in there? You know what I mean?
Because she was probably the better looking one of the
So we're gonna put her face on her
maybe
boobs.
she
Yeah.
was a minor.
The stunt boobs was a minor.
No, the actress.
Oh, the
so
actress
they
was a minor.
Got some chick who was like 25 and said, "Hey,
Okay, that would make
can you
more
put
sense.
your boobs here?"
I could be totally wrong. Could have been her.
I have no idea. Alrighty, so that's the only reason I say she's probably the slut of the group because that's an archetype in this type of movie, and we started off with her nipples. So from there, we get to watch Rachel, the friend, do a full-on jazzercise routine.
That
Now,
was funny.
she had it down, dude. The leotard thing with the socks with the toes cut out. I'm not 100% sure what the point of that was. The headband. And then she goes downstairs and puts on the TV show where you do the jazzercise along with the guy.
That instructor was on point.
Billy the Butt Grinaldi.
He was hilarious to listen to.
He was great. Billy the Butt. And in the exercises she's doing, she's basically got her ankles up in the air,
Right.
laying on her back in a, I don't know, like a vaginal thrust kind of a thing. Is that an act? I don't know what muscles you're working. Is that like a Kegel thing?
I was thinking more of your butt, like I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever worked out my butt or have ever had the desire to.
You never jazzercised?
I never jazzercised. I never did a butt exercise.
You never went up and down.
I try to, at least twice a day. My wife usually isn't into it, though. All right, that's fine. So now we get the phone conversation between these two. Laura explains to Rachel that she's got $35, and how much booze is that going to get us? Quite a bit in 1982, or whenever this is supposed to take place. So she's like, hey, how are we going to get booze? Apparently these chicks are at least under 21.
Right.
Probably 17, 18 maybe, I don't know. So they're like, okay, well, we'll go. Rachel's like, well, let's go down to the liquor store and we'll schmooze our way into some alcohol. So they go down to the liquor store. And right about now, we're going to cut to somebody else somewhere else in town. This guy is just waking up at the crack of noon. He lives in a basement at his mom's house. And I don't know, I guess probably early 20s. They were able to buy. No, they weren't able to buy alcohol.
No.
Well, they didn't really try either.
They were probably 20.
I would say
Yeah.
20s, somewhere early 20s.
18 to 20.
And this guy is a typical 80s loser. He wakes up, smokes a cigarette, and then starts playing his Atari, which you're wont to do in the 80s. His friend shows up right in the middle of this achievement, and crouches down and starts. You remember those basement windows where they're way up towards the ceiling, and you got to lay on the ground to talk to the guy through the window. That's how Dr. Dale lives right now. He's in a basement apartment, so his window is that big, and it's way up at the ceiling. So as he's laying in bed, all he can see is people's feet walking by. How depressing is that? You're laying there looking at people's shoes all day.
He's like, oh, I like those shoes.
Wait, come back.
That guy just spit gum on the ground right next to my window.
Hey, who's urinating on this?
Oh, that's terrible. All right, so his loser friend shows up, guy by the name of Craig Wilson. We're going to hear that name about every 6 minutes for the rest of the movie. Craig Wilson. Craig Wilson is the Eddie Haskell of, if anybody understands that reference. Hello, Mrs. Cleaver. The Eddie Haskell of this movie. So he shows up and he's got a 6-pack of beer and he's like, "Hey, I brought you breakfast. I'm gonna go fuck your mom and then I'll be right in." So of course he goes in and we get a weird sexually awkward, I guess, scene between Craig Wilson and this guy's mom. This guy's mom had to be in her 60s, right?
Yeah, she was old.
She was very old. I mean, to the credit of the filmmakers, she had the 80s look down perfectly. She had the big...
She was probably somebody's mom.
Probably. It was probably a
Yeah,
director's
probably,
mom. She had the Sally Jesse Raphael haircut with the big woof thing going on. And he goes in there and he's like, "I've got talented hands, Mrs. Whatever." And she's like, "I need help with this jar. It's too tight." And he's like, "I've got talented fingers for getting into tight places." This is gross. This is very quickly getting gross. And I should point out this dude's wardrobe. 80s, 100% accurate 80s. He's rocking the velour sweater with the low-cut V-neck. Plenty of chest hair happening. And he's got the 80s short shorts, like the runner shorts.
Like Reno 911. Wear in gym class.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, that is not... I mean, I guess that was the thing in the 80s, the early 80s. I was too young to remember what people actually wore back then, but God, how does that look good to anybody at any time ever? What do you think, Monica? No? No way, dude.
No way.
No, but he's banging it, and he's got the full mullet to go with it.
Oh, yeah.
There was a thing in the 80s that was kind of in where you grew a mustache, but you didn't really take care of it, so it looked more like a mange. Like a prepubescent attempt at a mustache, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Where you just get the little rat patches on either side. I don't know. I don't get it. Is what I don't do. If I was, I would just shave it off, and I will say I will grow a mustache at a point in my life when I can, and not attempt to do so right now because it looks ridiculous. Anyway. He goes inside, he talks to his friend, they smoke cigarettes, drink beer, and play Atari games for a few minutes, and then they just say, "Hey, let's go get some ladies. We gotta get a party going this weekend, huh?" We meet the original loser, his name's Teddy, and his Eddie Haskell-esque friend is Craig Wilson. So they're gonna get ready and go down to the liquor store and try to score some booze and or some chicks. So that's exactly what they do. They get their full 80s regalia on, or at least Teddy does. He's got the neon zebra print, skin-tight, sleeveless thing with the jean jacket. And for a second there, I saw a pair of Jesse the Body Ventura sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those that had the weird wraparound and the geometric shapes that did
I had 4 pairs of those.
Yes! Fucking
Different
A.
styles.
Love it. So They go down to the liquor store, and I don't think that these guys were old enough to buy booze yet either, because Teddy just kind of stands around smoking cigarettes outside, and Greg Wilson goes in, and he starts like creepily like spying on people through the shelves and stuff. And that's when we reconnect with our two young ladies. We have Rachel and Laura trying to schmooze their way into actually purchasing alcohol with Laura's $35. So they're pulling like a Linnea Quigley Night of the Demons move, where they're up flirting with them, and they're trying to, hey, oh, you work at a gas station? So sexy. How did you get this job anyway? Oh, my dad knows a guy. Like, oh, you know it'd be really hot if you let us buy this alcohol. Oh, I don't know. I could lose my job.
But the picture was Dr. Dill.
Oh yeah. He would have
He'd be a sucker.
He would have bought it for him.
Yeah,
he would have said, "Put your money's no good here, ladies. I'm gonna buy this for you, and here you go."
Suckered.
God.
What about number?
Yeah, can I have some of that when you're done? So that they managed to sweet talk the poor schmo there behind the counter into letting them purchase the alcohol, and then they go walking out, and then that's when they get accosted by Greg Wilson and Teddy. It's your typical 80s dialogue. Hey ladies, I see you got some booze. How about you get in the party train with me later? And they're like, oh, yeah, we want to party. And then, where can we party at? Oh, I got the perfect spot.
We're going to go camping.
We're going to go out to an abandoned campground out in the middle of the woods. It's going to be awesome. Oh, we like camping, yeah. So, this is how every episode of Unsolved Mysteries started, right?
Yeah.
But apparently this is how it all went down in the 80s, which kind of makes me wish I was a little bit older just so that I could nail some 80s chicks. Apparently just willy-nilly at the gas station. Just pick them up, get in the station wagon, we're going to the woods.
That's right.
So they agree to meet back there in an hour, and the guys are going to pick them up in the party mobile and take them out to this remote spot in the woods where they're going to get drunk and party. There's a little bit of a problem here, kids, because Laura still has to keep an eye on Andy, the little brother, throughout the weekend. Mm-hmm. So Laura goes back. They have like a little, sidebar between Laura and Rachel. Oh, what am I going to do with Andy? Just bring him. Oh, you can't bring him. This is going to turn into an orgy out there. I don't want him seeing me get reamed. So eventually they just decide to go ahead and bring the younger brother because, the party train is already on the way to the station. You can't slow down now.
Bribe the brother, keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, go home, bribe the brother, work out a whole backstory for Mom when she gets home about what we did. We ate corn dogs and went to the mall. Andy's on board 100%. I don't think Andy had any dialogue in this whole movie, did he? Other than walking around with his glasses?
Uh-uh.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
No.
either. So they get their bags packed. They get ready to go. Here comes Craig Wilson and Teddy in the Griswold station wagon from National Lampoon's Vacation. I'm pretty sure it was the same car. If not, it was very, very close to the Griswold station wagon.
Yeah, or the Brady Bunch mobile.
Now, here's the thing, and I love this about this movie. Whoever is still driving that, and I guarantee you whoever it was, you could tell whoever it was took very good care of that car.
Yeah.
There is somebody out there rocking the wood panel station wagon in Wisconsin right now that probably got a few dollars to let the filmmakers here use the car.
Mm-hmm. Cassette tape and all.
Cassette tape, work beautiful. All the way down to the wood paneling. God damn it. That's attention to detail right there, kids. I love that. So they roll up in the Griswold station wagon.
Well, before that, they were all having fun.
Oh
in the
God,
bedroom.
damn it! We cut. Sorry, we cut back probably the best part of the whole movie.
Right.
We cut back
That's why they were late.
to Teddy and Greg. They go back to Teddy's basement bedroom, and we get like a celebratory.
That was kind of a gay
It was very
It was
very.
something is going to happen.
It was very
here.
homoerotic. I thought for sure we're about to go to Brokeback Junkies or something like that.
Right.
But we get like a 3-minute montage of these two like high-fiving,
Sharing drinks.
spraying beer all over the place. At one point, they're actually playing with like action figures, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this, man?" I mean, it was very Night of the Roxbury-esque. How excited these two were to actually have not only talked to women, but got them to agree to go on this camping excursion with them. It was pretty ridiculous, and it was like '80s party techno syntho music. It was great. And all the while, Greg is wearing these short shorts that you can pretty much see his dick through the whole time. So there you go, ladies. That was just for you, Monica.
Yeah, last scene where they're laying in bed, like holding each other pouring drinks. Oh man.
Alrighty. There's a lot of sexual tension between these two. So now they go and they pick up Laura and Rachel and Andy, and they get in, and they're like, "Okay, get on the party bus." And Rachel's like, "Party down!" And they take off for this place in the woods. We get a cool 80s rock out montage on their way there where Rachel hands them like a mixtape, and they pop it in, and it's just more random syntho. Beep, 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 pow, wow, pow. So they get there. That's exactly what it sounded like, Monica. I actually memorized that song just for this occasion.
That was from a video game.
That's what it sounded like.
Sounded
Everything
like, yeah.
sounded like it was from a video game in 1982. So they get out to the woods, and they get to the first place they come to is like I guess it was some kind of like a hiker's lodge type of a situation.
Yeah.
It's abandoned. This
Yeah.
whole area is like completely abandoned. So they go in, they get to the hiker's lodge, and Craig Wilson is like, "You gotta keep them waiting, man." So they basically get out of the car, Greg and Teddy, and they just walk around to the backside of the lodge and just kind of hang there for like 5-10 minutes. And we cut back to the girls. They're like looking at their watches. Oh, well, I guess we're just chilling here for a minute or two. Eventually they come back, and then they go further into the woods, and then they get to their campground site, whatever you want to call it. Now, before they did that, though, Teddy actually went into that building and got like a weird pamphlet type of a thing that has a map of all the hiking trails around that area. So from there, we get to our big pitch a tent situation where we're all kind of, "Hey, are you going to bang that one? Because I kind of want to bang that one." And then we get the sidebar with the girls. "Oh, they're both so sexy. Which one do you want? I want the one with the shitty mustache. Oh, they both have shitty mustaches. I want the one with the slightly less shitty mustache. Okay.
I want the less hairier
Yeah,
dude.
but they're both hairy. Which one? I don't know. I can't tell which one is hairy.
One with the short shorts.
They're both wearing short shorts too. Shit." So then we get to the big party scene. They put Andy to bed, and he just goes in the tent and kind of kicks back. We get a very That 70s Show-esque party scene where the camera's like spinning around, and we see them pounding alcohol and smoking weed, and like I don't know, like Teddy keeps putting his arm around Rachel, and Rachel's like getting closer to him, and they're laughing and having a good time. Eventually, Teddy and Rachel are like, "Hey, why don't we go check out one of these trails? It's nighttime now. It's fucking dark out. Why don't we go check out one of these trails?" And Rachel's like, "Okay." So they go off, just walking off into the woods. You got Laura and Craig Wilson are still there at the campsite. Craig is completely done and just kind of collapses. He's fucking hammered. What was really sad is right before that, Laura's like, "Hey, want to fuck me?" And he's like,
Oh yeah. Boom. He passes out.
"Oh." So that's what happens. They go walking off. Rachel and Teddy actually go back to the car where they have sex in the station wagon. We get to see Rachel's boobs again, or the stunt boobs thereof. And then they kind of pass out for the night. Wake up the next morning, everything's fine. Rachel and Teddy wake up in the station wagon. Everybody else is back at the campsite. Andy gets out of the tent first and just starts walking around the camping area. And he finds a very mysterious machete. So he's like, hey, I got this machete. And he just starts whacking things with it, like branches and logs. And he's walking around swinging this machete. From there, we go back to Teddy and Rachel. They wake up and they kind of snuggle a little bit. And then they head back to the campsite. There we get the chauvinistic, hey, bro, did you put it in her butt? Or did she blow you? Or what happened with Greg Wilson? And Teddy's like, third base. Just fuck off, dude. So, we get a little hungover talk, and Craig is still drunk, and he's wanting to drink some more, and they're like, oh, we're almost out of booze. So Laura and Rachel decide they need some girl time, so they're going to go check out some of these trails by themselves. Mm-hmm. They go out there in the woods, and they come across the big building that we saw from the Maybe movie that we saw at the beginning with the hitchhiker. They're like, oh, it's an abandoned building. It's not on the map. That's weird. So they go in there, and they start poking around. It's big. It's It's an abandoned glue factory. Mm-hmm. They start poking around in there, and eventually Rachel's like all into urban exploration all of a sudden, and Laura's like, this is creepy. I'm going home, or back to the campsite. So Laura heads back, leaving Rachel there by herself.
No good one.
This is how horror movies happen. You understand? Yep. If this doesn't happen, then we don't have much of a movie. This turns into a porno, really.
Yeah.
But
one or the other.
Yeah.
She stays porno. She leaves horror movie.
Or they could both stay, and it could be a girl-on-girl porno. Think about that. Either way, Rachel is now there by herself. She's walking around. It's very dark and creepy. We see our friend in the gas mask creep around the corner, and then he just kind of rushes her, and they give her the stab face. Stab face was a trope of 80s slasher movies.
Yep.
Basically what it is we cut to POV cam of the killer, and then we see the camera zoom in on the victim, and then the victim does a stab face. Oh!
Yep.
And then no more victim. So that's what happens, but we don't really see, other than the stab face, we don't really see what happened to Rachel. We'll cut back to her in a minute, though. Back at the campsite, Laura comes down. She's like, hey, is Rachel back yet? And they're like, no, we thought she was with you. I don't know. She's like, no, we left her at the thing, and she, she's still poking around up there, I guess. And then now Teddy's starting to get worried, because I think they were in love, Monica. Teddy and Rachel.
Yeah.
They fucked in a station wagon.
Well, that's meaningful.
That's what else is there to true love other than getting nailed in a station wagon?
Well, for a girl, that's about it.
That's in 1982, yeah.
Yes.
It's either that or behind the Burger King.
Yes. Oh. I'll take the car.
I'll take the car, too. All right, so now Teddy's all worried. He's like, well, we got to go back there and get her because, it's not really getting late, but he says it's getting late, and I'm starting to get worried. So Laura's like, okay, you guys go. I'm going to stay here and go swimming. I did not see a body of water anywhere near this place.
No.
I didn't see a river. I didn't see a pond, a creek, a swimming pool, like a wading pool.
Well, it was on the map. We just
Okay,
didn't see it.
okay, that's fine. That's fine. So
that's part 2.
Yeah. So they leave Laura the keys to the car, and then they take off back to the old what do you call there? Try to find Rachel. Now they get out there and they get to where they get a little ways away from where the campsite is, and then all of a sudden Craig Wilson turns into a parkour expert and does like a monkey man thing up a tree.
That was awesome.
And breaks out a pair of James Bond binoculars so that he can watch Laura take her clothes off. Couple of problems I have with this. Number 1, he could have easily had sex with her the night before. Number 2, she's got a bush like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I sincerely hope that was like a prosthetic bush that they applied to her, and that was her actual bush. It was like a full-on, like a aboriginal bush, like a bushwoman type of a...
They probably told her not to shave for that scene.
That scene could have came out of a issue of National Geographic, I feel like. It was some serious bush down there. Anyway, after that, he comes down. He's like, oh, yeah, I love the view from up there. Cut back to Laura, who apparently just finished swimming. She is drying off back at the campsite, and now she gets accosted by this maniac with the machete. Mm-hmm. Her and Andy. Big chase scene. He's chasing her. She ducks into the tent. He chases her into the tent. She jumps out of the tent, runs and jumps into the car. He smashes the car window. Eventually knocks her out somehow. I think he like just punched her in the head or something.
Yeah.
Puts her in a wheelbarrow and starts like wheeling her off towards the thing. Now before he does that though, Andy actually creeps up on the maniac and stabs him with that machete. But then he like swats Andy away and then he walks off as if nothing happened with Laura in this wheelbarrow. So about now we get to what do you call there? The guys, they make it to the abandoned building and they're looking around. They see a bunch of hypodermic needles on the ground and they're like, "What? Fucking junkies around here. Rachel, where's Rachel? I don't know. Junkies, yeah." So they surmise that Rachel must have left and somehow they got crossed their paths on the way back to the campsite. So they decide to haul ass back to the campsite. Once they get there, they see that the car has been vandalized and Laura is missing. No sign of Andy either. So out of nowhere, Greg Wilson produces a pistol. What the hell this dude is doing with a gun, I have no idea.
I don't know.
He's like, "You know what? We're gonna fuck them up. Fucking junkies. Yeah, junkies. Junkies." Junkies is used in this movie. The word junkies is used probably 75 times in the course of this movie. So,
I don't think my brother was in this movie at
are
all.
you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
They needed somebody in that gas mask. He might have been in there. I don't know. Has he been to Wisconsin recently?
I don't know. He is a junkie. I don't know.
Is he a blood junkie? I hope not. So they now are on the warpath. They go back to the abandoned building there. As soon as they see it, Greg immediately just starts shooting at the building. Bang bang, and then he does this weird back and forth pacing where he takes his
Talk himself into it.
Yeah, he takes his velour sweater off and he's like, "They fucked my shit up. I'm gonna fuck their shit up. I gotta go. We gotta do this, man. We gotta go."
Bang.
Bang! And he walks in and he shoots off another round. He's like, "Come on out, you fucking junkies!" What the fuck? And then from there, we get a good 8 to 10 minutes of footage of Greg just
sneaking around.
doing James Bond moves. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-bum, ba-dum, bum.
Gun and flashlight.
Yeah, so he's creeping and crawling through there. Eventually, the guy with the gas mask shows up. And he takes down Greg, slits his throat with a piece of glass. But the funny part was that right as Greg walks in there, Teddy's like, "You know what? I'm gonna hang here, just in case they try to escape." And Greg's like, "Good thinking, man.
It's a pussy move.
Pussy move, but good thinking."
That was awesome.
Teddy's like, "Yeah, have fun." So he goes off, and he gets his throat slit.
And shoots one
Yeah,
off.
he pops off in a few more rounds. It's great. But Teddy hears the gunshots and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" So he goes walking around. This part was pretty cool. The guy with the gas mask sees Teddy walking through the holes in the walls and he just punches a hole in the wall, grabs Teddy by the mullet and just slams his head into the brick wall until he dies. I mean, the special effects in this are pretty cheesy, but god damn it. I thought it was pretty cool anyway.
Yeah.
Now we're going to cut to Laura and Rachel. They are strapped to a makeshift operating room, type of thing. And they're basically being bled dry via IVs. But they both got IVs hooked up to them. Apparently, I don't think Rachel actually got stabbed now. Because once we get to the operating table, we don't see any kind of a wound. There's going to be one in a second. But right now, I'm thinking maybe he just punched her in the stomach really hard and knocked her out that way somehow.
I was trying to remember who got syringed.
They both did.
They both did. All right.
Well, actually, Laura got the syringe in the neck when she was being wheelbarrowed up. But once he puts them on the operating table, then they both get syringes and hooked up to IVs, where we see them being pumped out. That's what's happening. He's got a bunch of IV bags full of blood. We see him take one of the bags, empty it into what would be a gas mask air canister, and then he basically is beer bonging the blood through the gas mask hose.
Yeah.
Junkie.
Blood junkie.
Why didn't he just drink it? Does he? I don't know. I mean, there's really no need
then
for
you'll
the.
see who it was.
Okay, I don't know. I'm obviously thinking about this movie a little more than I need to. So From there, Laura kind of regains consciousness. She's like, oh, what the fuck? Andy is creeping around with that machete, thinking about how he's going to get his sister out of there. We see Mr. Gas Mask go walking off. So Andy goes running up there and cuts Laura loose with the machete. She's like, oh my God, Andy, thank you. We have to get out of here. So they go to cut Rachel loose, and then that's when the Gas Mask guy comes back in, sees them. He's like, oh, hell no. And then he stabs Rachel and then like starts just pulling out random bits of meat from her guts. And I don't know. I don't know what he was doing with them.
Yeah.
Just it's like, look at that. There's one of those. Okay. And then from there we get like a little cat and mouse game between Laura, who's a couple quarts low already, and our Gas Mask friend, and Andy, who's kind of like, like a mouse, just kind of scurrying around following this little cat and mouse game. So eventually the Gas Mask guy catches up to Laura. They get into a little bit of a tussle. She, I think, stabbed him a bunch of times. Or no, shot him. She got Greg's gun. He jumped on her, shot him, and then came off. Well, he went down. She goes and takes his gas mask off. And basically we see he's just a bald guy, right? It didn't look like there was anything wrong with him. I don't know why he's wearing a gas mask. It was like a bald, crazy guy. And she's like, oh, I got you now, you fucker. And then he springs back to life, like flips over onto Laura and bites her neck open and starts drinking her blood. In the midst of that last-minute struggle, the gun got kicked away. And that's when Andy comes around the corner, grabs the gun, and basically empties what's left of the magazine into Gas Mask Guy. From there, we're going to cut to some very 80s stock footage newsreel from where KW whatever in Wisconsin and the news team there. And they're explaining that they found a bunch of dead kids in the old glue factory, and the only survivor is a 9-year-old Andy. Andy's also a suspect in the killings.
Wow.
From there, we're going to go to the hospital where Andy is convalescing. I don't think he was injured in any way, but he's in a hospital. And we see him, I guess, kind of dozing in and out. And as he's doing so, he's having recollections of him killing all the people. What movie? We're talking about Blood Junkie, Troy, from 2011. Available on Amazon Prime. Where did you guys watch it? Amazon?
No.
Sockshare?
I watched it on Movie Sub.
Sockshare, Movie Sub. Also on Amazon Prime. Very 1980s. That's pretty much the end of your movie. So we're saying that Andy killed everybody, right?
Yes.
It's a little psycho kid. Not a bad show. It's fucking 80s. Yeah, as far as like just nuts on accuracy, I think with the 80s, like looking at Rachel's house when she was doing the jazzercise, had all the house plants and the weird spiral staircase and shag carpeting. Woo! I thought it was great. I thought it was probably more of a comedy with these two meatheads. And
it was awesome.
And the chicks trying to have sex in the woods. Great show. What'd you think, Monica? Pretty good show?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I'm a total 80s kid, so as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, God.
Fuck yes.
Hour and 12 minutes.
Only an hour and 12 minutes, too. You can watch it on your lunch break.
Yeah.
I felt like Craig was reminded me of the sheriff in Cabin Fever.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name? Sheriff Wilson, was it?
Was it Wilson?
Winslow?
Hey, Winslow.
Was it Winslow?
Mr. Party Man.
You're the party man.
Yeah.
It's a good show. It's more comedy than anything else. It was made for $6,000.
Yeah. Pretty good for $6,000.
Fuck yeah! I read the trivia. They got all of the wardrobe, all the props from local thrift stores.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Cool.
So it can be done, inmates. If these knuckleheads can make a movie, so can we. So can you if you want to make a movie. Buddy, what'd you think of Blood Junkie?
Dug it. It's just awesome.
You really think Andy was the killer?
Yeah.
You don't think he was?
Yeah, because that whole ending bit that they showed.
I know, but it just seems
it shows
like,
how he did it and everything.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a
It's
bit
far-fetched.
It's a bit far-fetched.
He's too little to be able to
Right.
take down adults.
And there's no way he's going to lug Laura's fat ass all the way up the hill in a wheelbarrow.
That's what I'm saying. It just stuff didn't match up that this
Yeah.
little kid could have done it.
But the news report didn't say anything about a guy in a gas mask either.
Yeah, they didn't
That's
find
because he
anybody.
disappeared.
Ooh. Oh, that's right. After Andy
he
unloads on him, like a poof of black smoke comes out of his
That's
face.
right. He disappeared.
He's a vampire.
He could have been.
That
That's
runs
why
around.
it's
He's a
called
blood junkie.
That runs around in the daytime and is susceptible to bullets.
Why do you have to go
I'm
there?
sorry. I'm thinking out loud. Jesus Christ. It's Blood Junkie from 2011 inmates.
Give it a go.
Sock share, movie
Sounds
sub,
like a
Amazon
doozy.
Prime. It is a doozy.
But it was good.
Troy, I think you'd like it. It's more of a horror comedy throwback type of a thing.
Yeah. Like a...
Just don't take it
Spoof.
seriously. Yeah,
No.
just don't take it seriously.
Definitely don't take it seriously.
All right, inmates, we're going to take us a little break. We'll come back with some other stuff, huh?
Bye, guys.
All right.
Oh man.
Any last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything? Troy?
I definitely want to pick this movie up.
I don't know if you can get it like on Blu-ray, get like a hard copy.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Oh, maybe Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If anybody
Buy
has it,
on
they do.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I guess that'll about do us for tonight then.
Thanks for
Nope.
tuning in.
Thanks for tuning
Bye,
in. We'll have the
guys.
whole podcast episode up in probably 2 or 3 hours from now, depending on how long it takes me to eat dinner.
Yeah.
DVD is
DVD is on Amazon.
Nice.
Perfect.
See? Thanks.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks, Troy. Ooh.
DVD.